All right, boys and girls, today we are going to make our pattern pumpkin by our Kusama pumpkins. And this is my example, and you'll see that I used polka dots, stripes, and organic shapes. We're going to use patterns, and remember that patterns are repeating lines, shapes, and colors. You're going to need a piece of paper. I'm going to use white. You don't have to, but that's what I'm using. You can also start with a pencil and outline your pencil, but I'm just going to start right with a marker. And the first thing that you're going to do is draw the pumpkin. So here I go. Just follow along with me. Pause it, go back, rewatch things. I'm going to start here now. A pumpkin starts out with these repeating shapes. And you're going to notice that we're just going to keep drawing this repeating shape over and over and over again. And you can draw your pumpkin any way you like. And then you're going to give your pumpkin a stem. Now remember, you can use any materials that you have at home or at school. So there's my pumpkin. But here's the problem. My pumpkin is floating in space. So we have to make it look like it's sitting on something. I did this by drawing a line. And this line goes behind the pumpkin. It's where the floor meets the wall. So I just pick a spot and I go straight out to the end of the paper from the pumpkin. I'll do it again on this side. If it's not perfect, it's okay. So now my pumpkin looks like it's sitting somewhere. So I want to start with a pattern on my pumpkin. The pattern on the pumpkin is going to be polka dots or circles. Now, I did each section a little different. I did big dots, little dots, medium dots, dots inside of dots, teeny tiny dots. You get the picture. So this time I'm going to start with dots that are going off the side, and I'm coloring these dots in. Maybe there's a dot in the middle. Maybe there's a dot over here. But you will see there are many dots, and there's a bunch of different ways to make them. You might even want to practice making dots on a different sheet of paper. That would make it easier for you to figure out what dots you want to do. Sometimes I do that. All right, and keep making dots. So maybe I made big dots here. Maybe I'm going to make smaller dots. Don't smash your marker or pen or whatever it is. You're going to break the tip. What you want to do is gently make all your dots. You might even want to have dots going off the side. Think about where the dots are going to be placed. Don't just make dots and have them all in one section. You want to spread them out so they fill up the section of the pumpkin. Take your time. So I just made a different pattern of dots. Now, maybe I'll make small dots with big dots in the middle. All right. Perhaps these will be, maybe these dots get bigger and then smaller. Weird dots, I know. Maybe I'm making dots that go off the side. Weird, I know. But that's what kind of makes it cool. Teeny tiny dots. Now I'm gently making little teeny tiny dots and I'm filling the space. And notice how carefully, I'm not just going haphazardly like that. That would make a big mess. Don't do that. Think about where does each little dot live and make a pattern. It is random, but it's not. I would go back and fill in like spaces. Like I look and I go, need a dot there, need a dot there, need a dot there as I'm going through. Where does a dot need to live? And then I'll go and make big dots. Maybe I'll make dots with several layers. Like a dot inside a dot inside a dot. Okay, now this 27 pieces. 27. I'm taking my time. Oh, I made a oops, but you probably didn't notice because I just kept going and I went over my mistake. It's not a mistake. It's a beautiful oops. Do you remember that? I know I do. I always think about that. Now I got one section on the pumpkin left. Take your time as you're painting, or as you're drawing your pumpkin. If you rush, it will look rushed. If you take your time, it will look really nice. Something to think about. Always take your time with your pumpkin pattern. Okay, so my pumpkin has a pattern. Now, and we're just using polka dots on the pumpkin because that's basically what she does. Now the background, you could use different patterns. On the bottom or the top, one of them, you want to pick straight lines. On this one, I did the wiggly shapes on the top. And I kind of like the straight lines on the bottom. Now, when I do the straight lines, I'm going to pick a different color. I'm going to use markers for this part. So I'm going to take the marker and I'm going to make a line pattern. Now you want to think about, do I want the line pattern to be the same or different? Do I want it to be a crisscross? But I want it to be something that looks planned. I could go up and down and straight across, but that's kind of boring. So I'm going to go diagonal lines. And I'm doing purple this time because, I don't know, I feel purpley. And notice how carefully and how much I think. I'm like, I'm starting at the pumpkin and I'm going out. And I want to make the lines rather thick. I'm not using a ruler. That's okay. You can if you'd like to, but be careful that you don't draw through your pumpkin. Or make sure you use a pencil first and then, oh, this one's a little wonky. I'm just going to go over it and fix it up. Doesn't look bad. It looks pretty good. I might actually go over that one again. You can even alternate which lines are thick and which lines are thin. That is your idea. So I'm thinking about, where does the line start? Where does the line go? And since I'm using a permanent marker, I have to be careful because I can't erase it, which is fine. I'm willing to make that kind of a commitment. All right, I think I'm going to leave these lines going like that. And then on the top, instead of doing the organic shape, I'm going to change it up. I'm going to test the color. Yes. No, I don't want that color. That one won't work. Let's do this one. That'll do. That'll do. I'm going to do some wavy lines. And notice how carefully I draw my lines. I'm taking my time. And I almost feel like that line could be thicker to make it more interesting. Because these lines aren't that thick down there. So I can go back and color the line in. You don't have to, but I would recommend that if you use thin lines somewhere, use thick lines on the other section. All right, boys and girls, this is what you need to have done today. Your line art polka dot pumpkin. I look forward to seeing yours. Have a great day.